Hey everyone, welcome to On a Water Break, the podcast where we talk about everything you and your friends are talking about at rehearsal on a water break. This week we are getting into the Wicked soundtrack with Alec Lubin. We'll also find out what made Ricardo say,
listen, I am here for taking it back to like the 80s and early 90s when people would literally just do their show would be like,
and why Peyton said,
just bawling. There's like literal pictures of me that I could find in my phone right now of like my 15-year-old self with my blocky eyebrows that I didn't know how to do yet, like with tears streaming down my face.
All this and more in this week's episode of On a Water Break.
8 off the mat and go. Welcome to On a Water Break, the podcast where we talk everything marching arts.
Everyone, bring it in. It's time for a water break.
Hey everyone, we are back for another exciting episode this week, and we are so excited for our guest clinician, who was part of the new Wicked movie soundtrack, and also just happens to be an alum of the illustrious Blue Stars Drum and Bugle Corps. So, he is the perfect clinician for us to have on the sidelines this week. Ricardo, I know you're excited about this.
oh yeah, you have no idea. My little musical theater nerd heart is like just a Twitter right now. I am so excited to get to talk to Alec about all things Wicked and how all of this came together, because spoiler alert, if you have not seen the movie, you are wrong and do better. Because I've seen it twice and I might go back again tonight. Who knows?
Does having a newborn like exempt me from that?
That you get a pass because you do have a newborn.
It's on my list.
Okay.
It's going to happen. Maybe it'll be her first movie in the theater.
You know what? I will fly up there and babysit the kids for you so you can go and see the movie.
Yes, I just want you babysitting my kids. I am excited to know what Victor is going to tell me afterwards.
Second that. We can have a babysitting party so that Jackie can go see Wicked.
Listen, anytime I get to spend around little Victor, I'm so happy about that. And new little baby, I can't wait to meet her.
Oh my gosh, she's a lot. In a good way. Peyton, girl, I know you are a Wicked fan, and if there was a Shiz marching band, you would be the drum major.
I am a theater kid, too. I got the best of both worlds going on.
Yes.
I wish I could show the picture of myself, like seeing Wicked with my grandmother at 15, to my 21-year-old self, because it'd just be the perfect conglomeration of my drum corps career and of my theater kid career. Fun fact, I was Peter Pan in Peter Pan when I was 14. So
I'm flying. Look at me way up high.
That is perfect. Did you guys peep in the movie that Ariana Grande did a little bit of twirling action? I haven't seen it, but I've heard about this. Is this true?
Oh girl, she gives you a full-on phrase, honey. It is cute. Yeah, it's real cute.
I love it. Color Guard in popular media. So we have kept him in his pink bubble long enough. Please welcome Blue Stars alumnus Alec Lubin.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so stoked that you were able to do this. I was like, I'm going to message him and we're just going to see where it goes from here. And now we've got you in the hot seat. So hopefully you're ready. Have you heard about our 32 count life story?
I have. It's a little daunting.
Okay, well, I'll give you the Met. You're going to get 8 for free, and then just jump right in. We want to know everything that happened in your life from the moment you were born to today.
Okay.
No pressure.
I grew up in South Florida. Middle school, high school was always in the band, did high school marching band, decided I really liked band, so then I did WGI, DCI. I moved from drumline into the synth world and synth and electronics, really liked it, decided to go to school for audio engineering at the Jacobs School of Music. Really liked the film media, so I decided to pursue that and decided Los Angeles was the perfect way to do that. So after I graduated, I moved out here, reached out to everybody that I could, made some connections, and then landed a job.
So this is like your first job doing what you do?
I work for the composer of the film, John Powell, brilliant composer, at his studio doing like engineering and technical work. So I've worked on a few films with him in the past, but this is like working for him has been my first job really outside of college.
That is crazy. Your first like big boy job is like such a powerful movie that is going to literally be like one of the pinnacles of how we view movie musicals in the future. I mean, it's spectacular. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a great experience to be a part of. So many people were involved. I mean, if you finish the movie, you have to wait another 15 minutes to get through the credits, which is just a testament to the amount of people involved and what it takes to bring a movie of this scale to the big screen.
Which I did both times. I will say that I literally stood back to watch the credits just to see like how many people were involved in making this happen. Like, and it is unreal. It's unreal.
Yeah, it is.
So I want to dive into a little bit before we get super deep into Wicked. Let's go back to your DCI and your marching history a little bit, and especially because like we talk about, you know, I talk about you being a Blue Stars alum. I'm a Blue Stars alum. I actually don't know if I told you that or not, but okay, yeah. That's how I end up finding you. But the you know, was there anywhere else you marched? What did you do in high school? Where did you march? How did you get involved in all this? Let's talk about your marching history.
So in high school, I marched. I just like, you know, was the band kid in middle school. So I obviously continued that in high school. And then in high school, I went to the drumline and I marched snare. 4 years of snare, and high school was the only place I did drumline actually. So I did, after my third year, I think it was, I had some friends that were marching in Strike Percussion, the WGI indoor group. And I was like, that's cool, you know, band outside of school. So I was like, let me join that. So I auditioned and made it on synth and electronics because I actually like have been playing piano for my whole life pretty much ever since I can remember at least. Just learning as a young kid, mostly by ear. And I was like, this is great. I was definitely not good enough to make snare or anything close to that. I was okay at mallets, but couldn't really do that either. So I was like, synth is the perfect opportunity. I like the electronics thing. I like audio engineering, and I can play piano. So I auditioned on synth, made it, did a year of that. And then actually at the same time that I did that, there was a new percussion arranger who was the caption head for the front ensemble at the Blue Stars. So we ended up hitting it off. He was like, oh, you should audition for the Blue Stars. I went, I played him some solo pieces. He's like, this is great. Fly out, do the audition thing. And then I got a contract through the Blue Stars, ended up marching 2 years of Strike and 2 years of Blue Stars. And it was just some of the most amazing years of my life, just getting to experience that with so many people and just be involved like 24/7 in band, especially with going on the road with indoor percussion, being literally surrounded by it over the summer every single day, which sounds a little crazy now, but looking back, the memories are only good. You know, when you're in it, it's like some days are good, some days are bad, but only positive things to say now, really looking back.
Interject and ask what years you marched so that I can link the shows to my brain.
In Blue Stars, it was 2018 and 2019. The Once and Future Carpenter and I'm blanking on the Call of the Wild.
I was going to say, was it Call of the Wild?
Yeah.
Gorgeous shows.
Which were great shows. I actually didn't really know much about DCI until like the year prior to that, which was 2017 Blue Stars. Because I had some friends that were marching that, and I was like, it was just such a beautiful show, especially just the use of music and Rachmaninoff, and it was great. Classical music's amazing. And then for Strike, I marched 2018 and 2019 too, which was the plane show, which I forget what the name is at the moment, but we brought a plane onto the floor in Dayton, which was just insane. I remember when we first were learning about it, we're like, how's this going to get done? It was like an actual plane that we hollowed out. It was crazy, like all the people working on it.
Like, did you have to take it down the ramp?
I remember that plane.
It was cut into sections, and luckily I was, you know, moving the synth cart, which was also, you know, in my eyes, way too heavy for myself. But the fact that they brought a plane down there was just insane. You know, everybody should go YouTube that show because we had a plane, it spun, people jumped on it. It was just a crazy experience to be a part of. It was the most, I don't know, just like such a hassle, you know, to have another truck for the prop. But it was cool. We had a giant lot in Dayton. Everyone was, you know, fanboying, fangirling us, which was a cool thing to be a part of. And then the year after that, we did an addiction show, 2019, which we also had these massive props at the time that spun on their side and flattened up, and the snares were on top of it. It was, I guess I've been a part of some big prop shows for indoor.
I know what big prop shows are like. I can sympathize with that.
I remember that airplane prop being brought into the Ocean Center in Daytona for FFCC championships. And it was rolling through as we were doing the solo competition for Color Guard. And I was like, what in the world is happening? And literally all of my kids ran to the arena. They were like, oh, it's strike. We have to go and see this show. So I went with the kids to watch it. And I was like, okay, this is next level.
That was the goal of getting that prop. Yeah, I remember it was just madness making sure it would actually fit down the tunnel at Dayton. I think most of the way it was configured was just so at finals we could actually make it down the ramp.
Yeah, I feel like I'm sorry that I'm gonna interject again and like bring it back to everything drum corps related, but I just feel the need to explain that I vividly remember seeing that show back when like Loud and Live and theaters still existed, the Blue Star show in 2019. And I can remember sitting in the theaters with my friends. I was like 15 at the time. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Nightmare at 30,000 feet. That was the name of the show. Just came to me.
I love it.
Nice. Well, I do want to get into all things Wicked because, of course, that's why we're here in just a second. But first, I know all of us have our opinions about the Macy's Day Parade this year. I am certainly one of them. So let's get into some news. Peyton, can we start off with you?
All right. So in terms of things happening drum corps related, we have a very big camp weekend right before the holiday season. We have Troopers going on. We had BD 2 weeks ago, right after Thanksgiving. I know SCV has a camp this weekend. And so far, we are just seeing all of these corps receive great turnouts in terms of recruitment and all of these staffing changes that we are now hearing about, which is just a super exciting time. It's a super exciting time for any member that is marching or even any kind of alum that is itching to see what might be happening within the scene.
Yeah, I will jump in and say, we have we've started our remote camps at the Academy. I got to fly out to Vegas last weekend before last, the day after Thanksgiving. And it was so cool just to, one, be back in the room with the vets and see so many new faces. And then last weekend, they had the first actual Phoenix camp, and there were a lot of faces there. So drum corps is alive and well, and it's great. And I'm excited about this summer. I can't wait to be on the road again.
I was going to say, I've just booked all of my flights, which my bank account's hurting just a little bit. And it's encouraging to think about just the upcoming season, not only in terms of how excited I am for my age out, but just how excited I am to be somewhere that's not super cold. It was 20 degrees in Pennsylvania right now, or within the past week. And all I keep thinking about is Alabama spring training, which is something I never thought I would say.
Be careful what you wish for.
What?
Be careful what you wish for.
Oh my god, no. It's going to be like Infinite Swamp Tour glitch, and I'm going to be like, I regret saying all of that in December. And for those of you who are curious, we are putting a roundtable together within the coming weeks where it will be me and a few other age-outs and just a few other drum corps vets, as well as some rookies. And it's going to be an entirely drum corps-based episode where I'm going to be running it, and I'm going to have a few of my friends on it, and it's going to be super cool. And I'm going to yap about drum corps, which is what I do best. So, super excited about that one.
Can I just throw out there too that Blue Stars had their audition camp, and I was really sad because I did not see my adopted Blue Star son, Jack, on any of the photos. And I was so sad, but it turns out Jack got contracted with the Boston Crusaders for next year.
Love it.
Ooh.
So shout out. I'm so excited to see how he grows up from all of that. I could do a whole episode about the culture of drum corps and how much it's changed over the years from like, there was a time that you could not.
Write that down.
There was a time though, like if you switched corps, it was like a huge taboo thing. And now it's like, that's what you do to learn and grow is you go around and you find your fit, and traveling is so much easier. Oh, it's cool. It's cool. I'm excited.
Someone make note of that. We'll talk about it. I'd love to talk about that.
So normally you would be hearing from me on the streets of Manhattan as a volunteer with the Macy's Great American Marching Band at the Thanksgiving Day Parade. But this year I was cheering from the couch with a newborn in my lap. What a parade it was. It was really cold and rainy, but it was the 95th parade, and it did not miss a beat. From iconic balloons like Spider-Man and Marshall from Paw Patrol, ask me how I know that name, to the incredible floats featuring stars like T-Pain, Kelly Clarkson, all of the Broadway shows, and definitely all the amazing marching groups. The energy was unforgettable. And of course, the marching bands made it through a very challenging parade with that weather. There were 11 groups that brought their A game, including the Great American Marching Band. They hold such a special place in my heart. I'm so sad I wasn't there beside them, but I was so glad to be able to see them on TV this year. So I am thrilled to relive all of these highlights with you guys. So let's just kind of run down and talk about like who all was in the parade, starting with Avon. The Avon Marching Black and Gold from Avon, Indiana. They were the 2024 BOA Grand National Champions, and so they were invited to the Macy's Parade. Well, I don't know if they were actually invited or if they had to apply. I don't remember how that works.
I think they applied, but
Okay.
I mean, can we just talk about the fact that you come from winning, indoor color guard, they won indoor wins, right? This year. Didn't they like pull all of it off this year?
Yeah, they did a triple crown.
Yeah, and then state championships in Indiana, BOA Grand National Champions, and then all of a sudden you have this a whole nother full production for the Macy's Parade to be on TV. Like, it was just stunning. Like, the whole color scheme, they're using their fall costumes, and the entire band is in those Montes, I believe is the artist's name. I'm supposed to know that because I am like the district supervisor for art. But just like how the entire production comes together, and you get these like 30 seconds of TV airtime in front of the cameras, and those kids are just the definition of professional. Like, if there is a level of profession that like you should ever aspire to, it is to be like the Avon High School Marching Band kids, all of them.
The East Tennessee State University Marching Buccaneers were another one. I have one of the staff members at Spintronics was telling me they have a niece or cousin who was in this one. I can't remember now. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking. But was in it and was so excited because we were gonna like meet up in New York and hang out, and that clearly that didn't happen. I didn't go to New York, so
I had a few friends who marched in it, who I've marched with as well, who were there on Thanksgiving.
In the East Tennessee band, or the Marching Buccaneers?
People that I marched with in 23 and 24. Nice. Some of my closest friends, actually.
Nice. Flower Mound High School from Flower Mound, Texas.
That color palette, sickening. The dots, everything. Loved it.
Can I throw in like a little funny anecdote? Is the first color guard advertisement I had ever seen on YouTube was from Flower Mound's Winter Guard back in, I don't even know what year it was, maybe 2012. It was a long time ago, 2011, 2012. It's awesome. Awesome, awesome. The Jonesboro High School Majestic Marching Cardinals, they were sitting on the ground and playing in the rain.
Can we just talk about the whole aspect of like, I know it was raining, I saw it, but like those kids, they spent so much time and money to be able to get to experience that it was like, you couldn't kill their shine on that day with a little bit of rain. They were just like, it's just water. We're just going to keep doing our thing.
And that's the thing is like, these kids are going to push through anything to get this done because they love it so much. Lake Hamilton High School Marching Band from Hot Springs, Arkansas. They were one of the smaller ones I've seen, I think. I'm trying to remember these. I don't have pictures in front of me. I'm sorry. And then there was the Lincoln High School Patriot Marching Band from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. This was actually their 4th Macy's Parade appearance. And then, of course, the Macy's Great American Marching Band. They had a really cool introduction. They like helped introduce the whole parade and then got to go and march and bring the rest of the parade in.
Can we talk about that whole intro with Billy Porter?
Yes, please.
They were on the sides as Billy Porter was stepping down the street doing Ease on Down the Road. And oh my God, I lived my best life watching Billy Porter and those sickening boots stomp down the street in the rain, honey, not missing a beat. And the Macy's flags were giving us these presents, honey. I was like, okay, get it, timing. Yes.
I love that about the Macy's color guard too. They're always like musical and like they're not like out there just trying to throw the most difficult things in the world. They're actually making like a really nice production number with their choreography. And yeah, it's absolutely fierce that they got to do that opening. And then the NYPD marching band was there. They come and perform every so often with the parade. University of Massachusetts Amherst Minutemen Marching Band. I think I missed that one.
The head drum major for the Spartans is a member of that band, and she was posting about it.
You're going to have to send me her social media handles because I need to see this.
It was awesome. I love following all of the drum majors, seeing what they post about.
The University of South Carolina Mighty Sound of the Southeast from Columbia, South Carolina. And then West Virginia University Mountaineer Marching Band from Morgantown, West Virginia. Having been to West Virginia to do a color guard clinic out there now, it's a different world out there, y'all. The fact that they're pulling all these kids together, college students together in this band and like putting out such an awesome product is amazing. And that was their second performance too. So each band brought something unique to the parade, making the event a celebration of diversity in music and performance styles. You can catch more highlights and detailed coverages of the performances on the Macy's Parade website. Personally, I like to go to YouTube and check it out myself, but I know you guys have been waiting to talk to Alec about Wicked. I know I can see Ricardo's just like ready to pounce.
Yes.
But we need to do a few more reps to get ready for the holiday parade. So get out, line up on the street, and we will talk all things Wicked after the break.
Hey, this is Christine Ream.
And Chris Green.
Guard Closet was founded as a consignment business in 2000. Since then, it has grown to include winter guard, band, percussion, and other genres.
We can help you with custom flag and costuming designs.
Our consignment inventory has plenty of great looks for your color guard, drumline, and marching band.
Pay it forward. When you purchase consignment, you help other programs. Last year, we sold over 400 sets of consignments and returned over $125,000 in payments to our consigners for their sales.
Additionally, Guard Closet offers custom and pre-designed costumes, flags, floors, and formal wear, full or partial show writing, educational programming, and other services.
Max out your rehearsal time and set up a microsite for easy student ordering for shoes, gloves, and other equipment.
The Guard Closet team is here to help you get everything you want and need for your season. Check us out at guardcloset.com and follow us on social media.
All right, everybody, put your Santa hats down and let's stack our candy canes over here. It is time to jump into all things Wicked. And I know as soon as I said we had this interview coming up, so many people from our staff jumped on this and they wanted to be a part of it. But Peyton and certainly Ricardo, you guys were so eager. Oh my gosh, why don't you guys take us back to your first Wicked moments?
Okay, so I am going to jump in. So, listeners, you all know I teach musical theater. This is kind of my world. Wicked is probably, I hate to say I have a favorite musical because there's like a top 5 that like fluctuates. But I have seen Wicked 5 times on stage. I got to see the cast with Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth. I have seen it on tour in multiple cities. I took my students to London last year, and we got to see Wicked on the West End. So I am a Wicked fan through and through. Like the soundtrack plays in my head all day long, rent free. But I've seen the movie twice now. Probably going to go back again later today and see it. Or at some point this week, I will go and watch it for the 3rd time. This new soundtrack with Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. I mean, it is some spectacular stuff. Being a fan of Stephen Schwartz for all of these years through all of my musical theater upbringing and like seeing it presented in such a way that like keeps it fresh. I oh my God. I can't. I'm gushing and going about this right now.
There's nothing wrong with that, honestly. For me, I really love it because besides drum corps being such a very important part of my life, theater is as well. As I was talking about in the first segment, I'm a huge theater kid, whether I want to admit it or not. It was something that I did throughout middle school and high school before I chose to go all in with indoor within high school. But I remember seeing Wicked when I was 15 with my grandmother in New York, which is a very like tried and true experience that I hold very near and dear to my heart. And I remember seeing Wicked and just bawling. There's like literal pictures of me that I could find in my phone right now of like my 15-year-old self with my blocky eyebrows that I didn't know how to do yet, like with tears streaming down my face. I have no shame. But now, as I enter my 20s, having this as like almost a new era of a musical that I love so much is such a cool and important thing. Like I ran a half marathon like 2 weeks ago, and I will typically need to like listen to musicals when I'm running because my brain will get so bored. And so I ended up listening to the soundtrack within my 13 miles, and I highly recommend.
Non-stop repeat right now in my car, in my house, everywhere I go. It's on repeat and in my head like constantly.
It's just so catchy. How can you not?
It's true. It is.
So, Alec, tell us about this journey. How did you end up getting to work on the Wicked soundtrack?
So it actually, I guess, begins for me in college. After my 3rd year studying audio engineering at Indiana University Jacobs School of Music, I decided that I kind of wanted to move out to Los Angeles after I graduated and work in film, music-ish. I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do, but I'm fortunate enough to have family out here. So after I graduated, I reached out to some of them, and I guess after my 3rd year, after junior year, I reached out to some of them and asked if I could just come for the summer, see if I can make any connections, reach out to people, and just see what happens pretty much, to kind of prepare for what I wanted to do after graduation, see if it was feasible, see if I could kind of make it work. Since at least that a lot of what I heard out here is it's just all about who you know and what you can do. but you don't fill out a job application really for the kind of work out here. So I came out here over the summer. I reached out to a ton of people, pretty much anybody that had an email address or their Instagram was open. I sent them a direct message. And I ended up connecting with a lot of different like audio engineers and mixers. And one of them worked at the studio that I'm at now, still works there. And I was just like, let's grab a coffee if you're free. We ended up grabbing a coffee. And that was pretty much it. Then we just talked about kind of what I wanted to do, what he currently did at the studio. And that was pretty much it. We didn't really talk about job prospects or much else other than that. And then in my 4th year back at school, kind of went back. And then one of the requirements for the degree I was in is that we need to get an internship in a related field relating to audio engineering, sound production, something along those lines. Some people go into studio work, some people go into like plug-in design or theater. There's, a ton of options. So I reached back out to this engineer that I had connected with the summer prior. I said, would there be any way you're open to having an intern? I'll send you my resume. So I, put the best of what I had on my resume and portfolio, sent it over, and luckily enough, they took me for a 1-month internship, and I guess I made an impression, so they decided to keep me around after that. And because we work directly for a composer, and it's a small team, kind of when the composer gets a movie, we're all on board, and we're all working to just get the job done. And then one of those projects luckily happened to be Wicked. And it's a cool full circle moment for me a little bit too, even though, I'm a very small role in all of this, because in middle school, one of my first kind of audio jobs or experiences was doing sound for theater. So I kind of got my start doing musical theater mixing, and then in college I got to pursue that as well and mixed a few shows in the musical theater department. So it's kind of cool seeing the best of both worlds and getting to see what goes on and how many people it takes to get a huge production like this rolling.
Alex, I love that you said that your first stint in this was doing sound design for theater shows, because, people often think that if you're in the theater that you're just one of the people on stage. There are hundreds of people that make shows happen behind the scenes, like the costume designers, the set designers, the dressers, all that stuff. And the most important people in the show every night are not the people on stage. It is the people who are in the sound booth making sure that they sound amazing. Because if that sound goes out on a Broadway stage or anywhere else in a high school theater stage, the night is ruined. So
that's a great point.
The MVPs of the night, most certainly, I will say sound engineers and the sound people are first, and then second are stage managers and the people who are making sure that everybody's where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be there. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, there are really a lot of people involved, which I didn't even realize. Going in middle school, me was like, oh, I'll go turn on the soundboard and everyone has a wireless mic and I'll just mix the levels. And, all of a sudden there's 10 people on the sound team and 10 people on the lighting team, and everyone has to get there hours before the cast shows up and stay hours later. And then it's quite a lot of people involved to make sure that everything runs smoothly every night, hours of preparation.
I'm itching to know what your favorite show has been, obviously, besides Wicked.
I don't know. One of the first shows I mixed in middle school was In the Heights, which was cool just because it was like a first introduction to a musical, and I just got to listen. I just listened to the soundtrack every day, just knew the back of my hand. And it was my first Lin-Manuel Miranda show I listened to too, but it definitely piqued my interest for wanting to continue in theater in college for sure.
So fun segue. I have gotten into learning about the whole movie soundtrack production team and all that stuff in the last 2 years, because our arranger for the Academy is actually a film composer. And so his big thing, he doesn't like to talk about it, and he's probably going to be mad at me for saying this on here, but his big show, when we were meeting and getting introductions and we were talking about me being a theater person, all this stuff, he actually did the film soundtrack for In the Heights. So he wrote all of the extra stuff that Alex Lacamoire did not write for the movie, because, there's so much soundtrack that's based when you do a theater show, but when you do a movie, there's more scene transitions and all that stuff. So they have to hire out another composer to do all of that stuff. And so I'm pretty sure that's how you got this gig, right? Is because you were associated with a composer that got to do all the extra stuff that Steven Schwartz didn't do.
Exactly.
So
yeah, they kind of.
Did you absolutely like get excited about when the Blue Stars did In the Heights for their show?
Oh yeah, it was great. I loved the music. I was sad that I was too old at that point and, in college and dealing with everything else, but it was a great show to get to listen to. I'm pretty sure it was all new arranging staff that year too, so it was like a fresh take. I thought the use of electronics and sound design was integrated perfectly as well. Yeah, it was a treat to listen to when I heard that was the show.
So what was it like when you found out you were going to be working on Wicked and specifically?
It was very cool, because I think everybody kind of knew it was going to be this giant thing eventually. And I think the music and the tunes and the melodies from that show are great. So just like knowing that I was going to get to hear them in this huge orchestral blown up such expansive way where everything's just huge, melodic strings and this classic Hollywood sound. I was just very eager to get to the end product.
So the process for like doing soundtracks for movies, like people think that like, oh, you would go and record a movie and then it's just released instantly. Like this is years in the making. How long have you been like involved in the project for bringing this movie to the table? Also, we do know that part 2 has already been recorded. I'm going to ask another question after this one later, but like that's all, it's already been done. It's just waiting to release to get like a little bit more hype. But how long were you involved in it before it came out?
My role, not too long. Just the last few months at the end. I really come on once the music's written and it's about to get recorded, and then what I do specifically is I communicate with the studios in London where they're recording the music, and then I work right with the mixer for the orchestral score, and I kind of take the files as they're recorded, prep them to be mixed and balanced here back in Los Angeles, and if there's recording in LA, I'll take those files too, get them all in one massive file where everything can be kind of consumed more easily by who's going to end up mixing everything, because there's a lot of parts and different instruments that go into the score, so everything kind of has to be in a palatable way to where it can be easily exported. And then once it's all mixed, I'll take those files, export them out, and then communicate with the music editors who are going to edit the orchestral score and the songs together. So I'll send that to them while they're editing everything here, and then it all gets put together with the picture and then finished up. So pretty late in the process, I get involved.
So in my deep diving of Wicked for the last month, they said that Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo and Cutie Patootie Jonathan Bailey all sang live as they were filming. Did you guys have to mix it live, or did they go back into the studio and record afterwards?
That's what I heard as well. We're really hands off with the lyrics and the vocal tracks. That's all handled by completely separate teams, just because there's so many people involved. It can all be kind of delegated out who deals with what. So our team really focused on just the orchestral stuff. Mainly that happened, like you were saying, between the songs and what smooths the transitions between scenes and kind of, just follows the emotional track of the story.
That was going to be my next question, was like, you have all these different teams that are doing stuff. When the music is being recorded, though, it's not like you have just one giant orchestra in the room, like, okay, we're going to be here for a few days and we're just all going to get this all recorded. It's like done in smaller chunks, right? With like a group of people here and a group of people here.
A lot of the times the orchestra is recorded as, well, it kind of depends what they're going for. So sometimes the orchestra is recorded as a giant group. Sometimes if there's just strings playing a melody, they'll record just the strings. Or if the brass is just playing a section, they'll record just the brass. Sometimes it's easier to mix things if they're separated out, or, in the final delivery, they'll want things separated out a certain way. But it really depends, and it's definitely a case-by-case basis for what happens, which can, lead to more work down the line just to get everything organized. But, yeah.
So what was your favorite thing to work on?
I think my favorite thing overall was just getting to hear this music every day and just listen to the great orchestrations and everything that's going on. It's all great music. I think the songs were amazing. The score was amazing. So just getting to hear it all every day, and just, I can sing the oboe part by heart and have the violins play a certain melody, and just, it's really magical getting to hear everything come together also at the end. All the individual things, hearing mock-ups of it, and then getting to hear the final orchestral score mixed, mastered, put to the picture, and you can finally understand the arc of the story. Because when you hear and see everything every day, and then you finally go to a theater and sit back and watch the whole thing, it's like, wow, taking a step back from all the little details on the inside and just getting to see the story for what it is. It's very enjoyable.
Yeah, because you guys don't it's never done linearly. It doesn't go timeline wise for recording. You guys just record different segments at different times or whatever is first.
Yeah, I don't even make the schedules for that, but whoever makes the schedules picks and chooses what would go in what order best, depending on what players, what orchestra, what the instrumentation is for the recording session that day. But yeah, definitely not in score order, I would say.
Which song do you think you would say you were most proud of at the end of it all?
I don't know. That's a great question. There's bits and pieces from each part of the score that are excellent all around. I don't really know, to be honest. There's just different little things in each cue that I'm like, this is great and this is great, and it's hard to really pick one.
Okay, Alex, I need you to dispel a rumor for me. Rumor has it that Marissa Bode, who played Nessa Rose in the show, because of the traction on social media for the Me and Bach, is going back into the studio to re-record that portion of the song. Can you confirm or deny that?
Idea. I have not heard or seen. I'm really not involved with that part at all, but
I didn't even know about that.
I didn't either.
All the TikToks.
Yeah, I have no idea. I do think that the social media storm kind of all just the content coming out is very cool, and seeing all these new people that are interested in the musical that have never even heard or seen about it before. I open up Instagram Reels and 7 out of 10 are Wicked related, which is, after a few hours gets annoying, but
it does not, because I've switched my social media from being political to now it is just Wicked and church stuff. I don't know why church stuff, but I'm going for it. And I will tell you.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I know. I'm not okay. I'm not okay. We'll talk about that in a side conversation. But I will tell you that anytime that I am walking down a hallway, be it in my office or, just in my house, I'm literally doing the choreography for What Is This Feeling with the book choreography and the lean stuff. Love it. I'm doing it all the time. It's in my head 24/7, rent free.
The cadence is so fun. How could you not?
Exactly.
That being said, Alec, is there a visual moment in the movie that you feel like matched really well with the soundtrack that you were working on as you were thinking about it?
I really like I think one of my favorite bits is the train driving, or when it's going to the Emerald City, just the kind of over the giant shot on the Emerald City with the music. You just have this giant orchestra playing the melody as the train is driving, and it's just this big grand thing that you really know you're going somewhere big, and that's where the story's about to pick up, and you meet the wizard and it all goes really fast. And I think that moment is just spectacularly done.
I love the anticipation of it. What was the most surprising thing about working on this? Not necessarily even just on Wicked, but about your career in general. What would 15-year-old Alec be like, oh my gosh, really? That's what happens? Well, what would be the most surprising thing you found?
I think the most surprising thing is just that I got the job through connections, and I got this job that I never thought I would have, really. I mean, when you're at school, a lot of what you learn is that you just have to be really good at what you do, and kind of they don't really talk about the connections aspect and how you have to meet people and how everyone is going to be the people to offer you future jobs, and it's all about connections. And yeah.
It's true. It's true. Have you found any other fun, connections with people who have, marching arts backgrounds? Have you connected with anybody over that?
A little bit. Some people that I had very similar upbringings from South Florida. We have similar, percussion teachers, and now we're working on giant films together. Just small little band connections that really make the world seem smaller than it is.
Well, the marching band world is so small. I love it. We were just discussing this the other day in one of the drum corps groups on Facebook about how small. We don't even need Kevin Bacon. We're all 1 degree from each other. Well, Peyton is going to take everybody and prepare them for the Shiz marching band performance. So we'll be right back with more.
Marching by Montes is a visual design business based out of Raleigh, North Carolina, but provides services to ensembles all across the country. Our services include custom drill and staging for marching bands, indoor winds, indoor percussion, and winter guards, as well as custom band and guard choreography for all 3 winter idioms and marching bands. We now offer program coordination for ensembles throughout the U.S. and custom graphic design for all of your uniform, props, flags, and floor needs. In-person and virtual program consultation options are now available through Marching by Montes, as well as custom sound design for your indoor winds backing tracks, winter guard soundtrack, and show soundscape needs. Visit us at marchingbymontes.com, contact us at joey@marchingbymontes.com, and check us out on social media at Marching by Montes.
We are back. It is time to dive right into what are we doing?
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
All right, what are we doing? This is our sort of tongue-in-cheek way to go off on something going on in the marching arts. Ricardo, you know how this works. Take it away.
Listen, what are we doing about not having seen Wicked at least twice at this point? Jackie gets a pass because, she's got a newborn. But the rest of you people out there in the marching world, listen to me. I don't want the excuse of, well, musical theater is not really my thing. It doesn't have to be your thing. This is going to be the thing that is going to transform you into a theater nerd like the rest of us. It is visually stunning. It is musically perfect. It's perfection through and through. It is, if we were able to mold drum corps and everything else in the theater world and put it all together and make one of the greatest films of all time. This film is it. I'm telling you, if you are not seeing this movie at least once, you need to do better.
I definitely want to experience it in theaters. Oh man.
You have to. I'll come babysit your kids. I told you.
Okay.
I'll do that. I'll make it happen.
Peyton, what are we doing?
Okay. Can we please, I'm begging, get some more drum corps shows that utilize theater, or at least snippets of musicals within their shows?
Preach!
The last one that I can remember, okay, and I love this show so much, so much that it made me want to do drum corps, because I saw it in 22 when I was at Lucas Oil. The Blue Stars used Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812 as their ballad, and I lost my mind. And it was so, so great. Things that I can also remember, I can remember Boston using snippets of Hamilton in their 2019 show. However, as a theater kid and as someone who also does drum corps, that is my favorite thing ever, when those two arts just come together to make the most beautiful baby of a show. I think it's truly like the epitome of two of the greatest formats of music. And I would love, in this upcoming 2025 season, my age out, I would love to see some shows utilize some more musicals within the shows.
Listen, I am here for taking it back to like the 80s and early 90s when people would literally just do their show would be like their marching band version of a theater show. Like when Santa Clara Vanguard did Phantom of the Opera and Cadets did West Side Story. Magic. Magic.
Scheherazade.
That's opera, I think. But that was SCV.
But yeah, SCV did Scheherazade too, and I feel like it's really
twice.
It's not just about that. It's about like the storytelling, utilizing the music and utilizing the videos, the visuals to do this amazing storytelling, and it just sucks you in. That's why you can do
each other so well.
Yes,
it just builds off of each other.
I will say this. My original concept idea for what the Academy is doing this summer was based off of some musical theater stuff. It has since evolved in the design process, and all the musical theater music has been taken out of it right now at this point. But it was definitely it was inspired by some musical theater, like one particular musical, two particular musicals. And it is going to be a great concept. But I did transfer my little theater world into the drum corps world as best I could this year.
You can't just say that and not expect me to get so excited about it.
It's going to be good. You're going to like it a lot.
I was just going to say, is one of those musicals Wicked?
No, it's not. But,
Wicked inspires everything, though.
It does inspire. It inspires my day-to-day living. So, yeah, I'm always defying gravity.
Nice.
I'm so sorry.
That was beautiful. Alec,
you see how this is waving my arms.
Alec, you see how this goes and how ridiculous you are. We are together here. What are we doing?
I just actually realized mine is directed at my past self, but it's what are we doing waiting for movies to come out on streaming before we see them? Mm-hmm. And that's like something that I kind of have always done, it'll be on my TV and I can watch it in 2 weeks at home. But working in the movie industry, I've realized that all these teams of people are working to put on this amazing product, and why not go see it on a giant screen with giant speakers with an audience where you can all enjoy it, go with some friends, and you can all just be there immersive in where it's designed to be.
I agree, Alec. Like, there is nothing listen, I know that especially post-COVID, all of us are lazy and nobody wants to leave their house for anything. I am 1000% guilty of it. But after going, this is a movie you definitely have to see in theaters to truly get the full immersion of the sound and the camaraderie of everyone else in the theater going through the same exact moment as you in history. You get out and go to the theaters, folks. Just go and do it.
So what I'm hearing is popcorn, M&M's, crispy Diet Coke, and the Wicked movie.
Definitely popcorn.
My movie theater has wine, so I'm very happy about that.
Oh, you got the bougie theater up in here.
Ricardo at the bougie seats. Movie theaters.
Oh yeah, the reclining seats and everything. I'm here for
it. Let's go to our gush and goes.
Great job, everyone. Set your equipment down. Gush and go.
I kind of feel like this whole episode has been a gush about Wicked in particular, but musical theater. But Ricardo, what do you want to gush and go on about today?
I'm going to gush and go about two things. One is musical theater, and then one is going to be marching arts. So I just did my first round of auditions for my Swan Song musical theater show, which is going to be Hadestown this year. So we had some awesome, talented kids come out and audition for that, and so that's going well. And then I have spent the last 2 days staging the first half of my Swan Song Winter Guard show. And that's going to be really pretty. So I'm in my creative era right now. And it's like, I'm vibing on such a high frequency right now. It's like 1,000,000 aura points for me.
Peyton, what do you want to gush and go on about?
I just finished my first semester of my junior year of college, and I am knee deep in creating lesson plans because I have 2 more semesters until I student teach. But I am so excited to just have this break and focus entirely on the amount of travel that I'm going to have to be doing for drum corps. So I have to go to the Drum Major Summit in January Camp for Spirit, MLK weekend, and then I have a retreat for Silent Command, which I'm super stoked about. So I'm just super excited to like have this break adequately for the first time since God only knows, probably the season, and not only just like recover as a college student, but start to mentally prepare myself for a semester where I am leading into this last season for me.
I remember those days. Oh man.
Yeah, you're doing big girl things, Peyton.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's scared. I'm gonna think about it.
Don't think, just do. Just run
Just do.
straight at it.
What do you mean I have to teach high schoolers in 2 years? That sounds fake.
It's fine. You'll be fine.
High schoolers have gotten a lot younger since you were in high school. I'm just saying. Alec, what would you like to gush and go on about?
My gush and go is that I got to write the front ensemble music for the high school I attended 7 years ago, and they got first in percussion at States this year. And I'm just glad I still get to be involved in the marching arts as an arranger, which I did not think would be possible 7-8 years ago.
Alex, what class? Because they're in Florida. What class were they in?
1A.
Okay.
Small little band.
Okay, I saw them. They were great.
Thank you.
I want to gush and go about getting my son started with musical theater because his first musical he ever saw was Wonka. Yeah, it was perfect. He fell in love with Willy Wonka, and we ended up going and getting like the other previous 2 movies on DVD, and then immediately bought the new one on DVD when it came out. He watches it 24/7. If you guys saw his Halloween pictures, he was Wonka for Halloween. And then of course his baby sister had to be an Oompa Loompa because
freaking adorable.
Yeah.
That's so perfect.
It's great. And there's a huge tap dancing scene in the Wonka movie, and he loves tap dancing, and I only recently put it together that that's why he loves tap dancing so much is because of that movie. Like, oh, that makes sense. He taps all over the house. He'll run up to you and say, "Do you want to see my shuffle step? Do you want to see my shuffle off to Buffalo?" And then he'll do a little like tap dance for you. It's so stinking cute. So I am creating another musical theater / dance / band nerd. We'll see what direction he goes. He also loves to play the piano. So Alec, I'm very excited that you say you started playing the piano so young. He's been playing the piano since he could hold his head up. So I'm excited to see where that goes.
Hey, it's called Gush and Go, not Gush and Stay. Let's go.
Thank you guys for a great rehearsal this week. What a way to kick off season 3 of On a Water Break. There are so many things that we have planned this season. We can't wait to share everything with you. I have been told that we've been getting some email and message requests, like DMs from our listeners wanting to add their own What Are We Doing or their own Gush and Goes. Y'all send those to us. Make an MP3. Just record yourself real quick saying your What Are We Doing, say your Gush and Go, and we will throw it into an episode because I think it's so great. I love listener fueled episodes and, giving us some more stuff to talk about. So I'm sure you guys are thinking about things that we haven't necessarily thought about yet, or maybe it is something we have thought about extensively and haven't brought up yet. So send those our way. You can email us on a water break. I think it's onawaterbreak@gmail.com. And DM us at On a Water Break, all of our social media. Thank you so much for hosting with me, Ricardo and Peyton. You guys are awesome. Thank you, Alec. Where can people find you on social media if they want to follow your incredible career?
My Instagram, I guess, which I'm not active on, but should be and maybe soon, is at little_Lubin, Lubin. Or my website, which I should update soon as well, which is just my first and last name, aleclubin.com.
That's brilliant. The fact that you could get your whole name as a website is... Disney owns my name, so can't do anything about that. One more thing, don't forget we have our YouTube channel that has many of our interviews as full video editions. Go and subscribe so you don't miss those. And then, of course, before you close out of our podcast listening app, go subscribe, write us a review, share this with a friend. Make sure you follow us on all of our social media at On a Water Break. We'll see you at the next rehearsal on a water break.
Go see Wicked.
The On a Water Break podcast was produced by Jeremy Williams and Christine Ream. The intro and outro music was produced by Josh Lyda. To learn more, visit lydamusic.com. And until next time, thanks for tuning in.